What's up, guys? I'm getting real sick of this lack of representation in the media recently. When am I gonna get a game where I can play as an Italian cat, for God's sake? Yo!
Super Mario 3D World, the game for pussies. Since 1996, Super Mario's 3D adventures have been prolific in the gaming industry for innovating and pushing the medium to new heights with nearly every entry. Super Mario 64 completely revolutionized 3D platformers and third-dimensional movement. Sunshine expanded upon 64's mechanics while still experimenting with creative new gameplay mechanics, and Galaxy 1 and 2 focused on spectacle alongside fun gameplay and level design. So when the time came for Mario to make his transition to Nintendo's up-and-coming console, the Wii U, what new and innovative ideas would the guys and gals at Nintendo come up with to shake up the industry this time? Well, I'll tell you, they just took that 3DS game they made a couple years ago and slapped some HD onto it. Okay, that's definitely selling the game short, but Super Mario 3D World is just one of those games that always felt overly simple to me. Like, why was Mario's first HD 3D debut a game that was practically repurposed from a 3DS title? Well, despite how simple it may seem, 3D World received a ton of applause and acclaim from reviewers and fans alike, so who knows, maybe my opinion could be swayed as we take a deep dive into the Wii U's titular 3D Mario game. This is Super Mario 3D World. Super Mario 3D World, believe it or not, started development right after Super Mario 3D Land released. According to 3D World's co-director Koichi Hayashida, the title was meant to be a game that normal Mario fans alongside fans of the new Super Mario Bros. Series could enjoy, as well as being a continuation of 3D Land's ideas. Two things here. One, it's really odd that they decided to expand upon 3D Land's design when Nintendo is pretty infamous for doing a lot of one-and-dones with their games. And two, why would you simplify the game to be something for new Super Mario fans to enjoy? At this point in time, people were getting sick to death of the new Super Mario games and their overly simplistic designs, so why try to appeal to these fans in particular, especially when 3D Land on its own very much felt like a new Super Mario game anyway? Well, nonetheless, Super Mario 3D World was teased in the January 2013 Nintendo Direct, and formally shown off at E3 2013 with a ho-hum trailer and a so-so title. Let's just get this elephant out of the room, I really don't like this title. It feels just as simple as 3D Land's title, except the addition of 3D here makes even less sense, especially because this isn't on the 3DS. Not to mention that after this, people started getting Land and World's titles mixed up constantly, so that's annoying. As for the trailer itself, it was This trailer really wasn't the best first impression in my opinion. It just makes the gameplay look incredibly slow and boring, and the only really notable things in the trailer are the inclusion of 4-player multiplayer and this game's gimmick power-up, the Super Bell, allowing its user to become a furry. Kind of a weird idea to center the game around, but I gotta say this power-up was creative nonetheless. I'm more of a dog person, so I guess I'll hold out hope for Nintendo to make a Mario game where you eat your own feces. For a while, 3D World's only real hook was the idea of 4-player simultaneous multiplayer and the cat suit, but after the second trailer in October 2013, people got much more on board with the game. This trailer was everything the first trailer wishes it could be. It's energetic, shows off the game's creativity and fun, and has great music to boot. And from there, the rest was history, with the game releasing on November 22nd, 2013 here in North America, and receiving critical and commercial acclaim. At least as much commercial acclaim as Nintendo could have gotten with the Wii U anyway. Alright, Super Mario 3D World, the game with a blue header and red case because God hates consistency. Let me go on a tangent here for a second. Around 2011 and 2012, Nintendo started to put any and all Mario games in a red case to signify that it was, in fact, a Mario game. That or they all just have skin infections, I don't know. Now, at launch, Mario games for the 3DS and Wii U typically came in their respective white and blue cases, but all in all, I've never liked this decision. I don't know, I'd just rather have my cases look the same as all the other games for its console. If you're gonna go through the trouble of putting the game in a red case, why not make the header red as well? I know this is a very minor thing to bring up and one that really only affects Wii U Mario games, but it's one that still bothers me nonetheless. It's fine though, because who owns a Wii U anyway? Also, yeah, we're looking at the Wii U version and not the Switch version, which means we won't be taking a look at the Bowser's Fury expansion, aka the main reason to buy this game on Switch. Our story begins with Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and a blue toad watching a fireworks show where they then stumble upon a mysterious glass pipe. In one of the few instances of actual plumbing in this series, Mario and Luigi fix it up, and soon after, this thing called a Sprixie pops out. She explains that she, alongside the other 6 Sprixie princesses, are being targeted by Bowser to be kidnapped. But soon after, Bowser emerges from the pipe, puts the Sprixie in a mason jar, and bails. Wasting no time at all, our heroes jump into the pipe and set forth to save all the princesses within the newly discovered Sprixie Kingdom. So yeah, the plot's slightly different from the norm, but effectively the same in the grand scheme of things. But we were expecting that by this point, so let's stop wasting time here. Alright, so if I were to describe Super Mario 3D World's gameplay, I'd say take Super Mario 3D Land's core design and mix it together with Super Mario 2's playable characters and add multiplayer. 3D Land's design of a 2D Mario being played in 3D returns, with the camera being placed a little farther back from the action now, and with your objective still being to get to the flagpole and progress from level to level. Rather than having the star medals from the 3DS game, 3D World has the green stars, which basically act the exact same way and requiring you to get enough of them to beat the game. Controls are still generally the same, with some new additions being added like the spin jump from Mario Sunshine, and this ground pound jump you do by jumping after a ground pound. In general, movement feels about the same as last time, though obviously much smoother since you're playing this with an actual control stick. Weirdly enough though, this game only has 8 directions of movement rather than having 360 degrees or 3D Land's 12 directional movement. This was most likely done due to how these levels were designed and for accessibility purposes, and honestly it's not that big of a deal, just a weird choice. I mentioned previously that I wasn't a huge fan of 3D World's overly simplistic design, though thankfully 3D World actually fixes a few of my gripes. While the levels are still fairly straightforward, they're much bigger in scope and more interestingly designed now, and because of that they're actually fun to explore and find secrets in. Not only that, but the ideas at work here are far more interesting than 3D Lands, with each providing fun and interesting challenges, as opposed to exclusively reusing stuff from the Galaxy games. I mean, there's still a lot of that, but 3D World's new ideas and level designs help to counterbalance the old ideas, which I appreciate. Besides the green stars, there are stamps you can find within the levels, but nowadays they're more pointless than diet water. Originally, you were supposed to use these stamps in Miiverse posts, but since Miiverse was nuked to all hell, these things don't have much of a point anymore. There are 8 worlds as expected, with new levels unlocking as you collect more green stars. Unlike 3D Land, these worlds do actually have themes to them, though they still don't affect the actual themes of the levels themselves, which I'm still okay with. You do actually have a bit of a hub world in this game, with you being able to walk around it freely, select levels or secrets wherever you want, and make a choice when you're presented with a small fork in the road. While it's not entirely necessary, I like this addition because it helps to flesh out these world themes, whereas 3D Land just had you standing in a colored void and not much else. But obviously, 3D World's biggest selling point is the implementation of multiple characters and simultaneous 4-player multiplayer. For the 7.9 billion people out there that are fans of Super Mario Bros. 2, you can rejoice because you can once again play as Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and a blue Toad, with each of them carrying over their original gameplay traits. Mario's the all-rounder, Luigi has less traction and a higher jump, Peach is slow but can hover for a short moment, and Toad runs fast at the cost of having a bad jump. Like in Mario 2, having the option for multiple characters is great, and the game is balanced around all of them so that there isn't one character that is far better than another. There are a few instances where you won't be able to get a green star or stamp without playing a level as a particular character, but having the option to choose who you want to play as whenever you want is still great. But as for playing multiplayer itself, it's a chaotic nightmare. Having multiple players on screen at once can either make for one of the most entertaining experiences for all the wrong reasons, or can become insanely frustrating due to poor teamwork and a few technical hiccups. While the camera was zoomed back and the levels were made larger to accommodate multiple players, the camera cannot for the life of it decide on who it wants to focus on. Also, for some baffling reason, Nintendo decided to map the pick up object button to the run button, so because of that you'll constantly be picking up and throwing your friends when you didn't mean to. If you made a drinking game for every time you picked up a friend by accident in this game, I swear you'll be dead by World 4. At the very least, I'm glad this game supports multiple controller options in case you don't have enough Wii U Pro controllers for all your friends or something, but there are a couple of levels where you'll be forced to use the gamepad, which is kind of lame, especially due to how gimmicky these levels are. Anyway, for my playthrough I mostly just stuck to 2 players, which was much more tolerable, albeit a little annoying at points. All the power-ups from 3D Land return here, alongside a good variety of new additions. Obviously there's the poster power-up being the Super Bell or Cat Suit, turning any character who collects it into a furry and giving them a swiping attack as well as the ability to climb walls and dive. Like the Tanuki suit in 3D Land, I find that the cat suit kind of breaks a lot of the game's challenge, though not to the same extent because A, you still have to platform accordingly with it since you're always grounded and the power-up's abilities only really affect specific packs for level completion or options for exploration, and B, there's a 1-up trick in the second level of the game, so it's not like this game was challenging to begin with. Also, like in 3D Land, there's a variant of this power-up called the Lucky Bell, which is relatively the same alongside the addition of you turning into a lucky cat statue whenever you ground pound, giving you free coins in the process. The other main power-up is the Double Cherry, which creates a clone of its user that you can use to shoot additional projectiles if you have the right power-up, or solve puzzles where you'll need a specific amount of clones alive in order to access a secret. And for the last power-up, we have the Mega Mushroom from the new Super Mario Bros. Games, allowing you to grow giant for a moment, and that's it. Yeah, this one's kind of disappointing, but in fairness you don't get to see it very much, and this power-up's sort of been on the decline since the first new Super Mario Bros. Game anyway, so whatever. Overall, I love the power-ups here. Rather than making you over-reliant on one throughout the whole game, each power-up gets its time to shine and helps to provide new ways to go through the levels or discover secrets. Outside of the core platforming levels, there are a couple of extra things you can do, like getting power-ups from Toad houses, doing the mystery box challenges that return from 3D Land, and play the newly introduced Captain Toad levels. In these levels, you control Captain Toad from Super Mario Galaxy and have him traverse a small 3D area in order to collect some green stars. The catch is that Captain Toad is unable to jump, so the real challenge and fun lies in figuring out how to solve these puzzles with the limited space around you. I enjoyed these for what they are, and apparently Nintendo did too, because they gave this little guy his own game, further expanding upon this concept, which is honestly pretty cool to see. Fun fact, I got Captain Toad on Switch for like $4 due to a glitch on Walmart's website a couple months back, so that was pretty great to spend so little on a game I'll never play. Presentation-wise, 3D World is gorgeous to look at. It was the first 3D Mario game in HD, and it shows, with lighting and environments looking stellar throughout. Some of the character models can look a little off, but generally speaking the game looks great. But buddy, forget the graphics, because my god, the soundtrack is incredible. This time Nintendo went with a big band ensemble theme, and a ton of the tracks are an absolute joy to listen to. Some of my favorites include the credits theme, the Histocrat boss theme, and Bowser's theme. Oh, speaking of Bowser, I guess we should talk about the final boss and post-game now. After rescuing all the Sprixie princesses, Bowser Lil JKs us and takes them all to the top of the tower at World Bowser, the final world in the game and a colorful light show from hell. At the final level, we approach the tower and prepare to face off against our longtime rival for the billionth time now.
You know, a lot of the Bowser fights in this game were pretty creative, so I wonder what the devs are going to do for the final boss to make things interesting.
Oh my god, this is incredible. Sure, structurally you're not really fighting Bowser, more so avoiding him, but look at him. Look at him. Remember all that bitching I did at the beginning? Yeah, I take it all back, this game is amazing. After the final boss, you gain access to 3 secret worlds, World Star, World Mushroom, and World Flower. World Mushroom and Flower basically just remix already existing levels into more challenging versions of them, like the extra worlds in 3D Land, but World Star actually provides original levels and even a new playable character. Yes, after beating the second level in World Star, you get to play as Rosalina from Super Mario Galaxy. She has the slowest movement speed in the game, even slower than Peach, but to make up for it, she has the spin move from Galaxy, giving her more horizontal distance as well as an offensive attack. I really like playing as her in this game, mostly due to my love for Galaxy, but she's still a cool unlock for essentially beating the base game. And yes, there's once again a super duper hard level you can only play after getting every green star, every stamp, and touching the top of the flagpole in every level in the game. I'm glad you don't have to beat every level as every character to get this challenge. This game has it over 3D Land at least. But yeah, I don't really feel the need to go and do all that. Though from what I hear, the final level in this game is quite possibly the hardest level in the series, perhaps even more challenging than Galaxy 2's level. Maybe one day, but not today. It's not like I've been getting 100% in most of these games anyway. Well then, was Super Mario 3D World better than I was expecting it to be? Well, yes and no. Super Mario 3D World is absolutely a great game, I don't think anyone would argue against that. The level design is fun and creative, the new ideas are crafted and implemented so well, and the game is a marvel in presentation and sound. But I think the number one thing holding it down is its core design being based on Super Mario 3D Land, a game that works well enough for handheld but can be a little simple on the home console. For me, I expect a little bit more from the Mario series, so to see a game like this play it pretty safe in contrast to its excellent ideas, well, it only makes it pretty good in my eyes. I don't think it helps that this was the home console game sandwich between the Galaxy duology and Odyssey, which in turn just makes this a Mario game that plays like the 3DS one and also has multiplayer. There are so many differing opinions about this game online. Some say it's the best Mario game ever, others hate it like the plague. So because of that, I think you should really form your own opinion on this game, especially because it isn't the easiest to talk about in case my vague ramblings haven't shown that enough. I'd say start out by playing this game by yourself or with another player, but be prepared for frustration and chaos if you're going in with more than that. At the end of the day, while Super Mario 3D World is still a great game bursting with charm and creativity, its core design and minor negatives ultimately keep it from standing side by side with all the other great 3D Mario games in my opinion.
Super Mario 3D World isn't a bad game, far from it. However, it is certainly tough to talk about considering how great yet dull it is at the same time. Speaking of tough things to talk about, I have a therapy session lined up because apparently my obsession with Meowser has gone to a concerning degree or something. What have I become?